Hello and welcome to another video of La Regia y el Güero.
El Güero y la Regia.
Bueno. We went to Guatemala, as you already knew from our previous video. Let's just get some quick facts about Guatemala out there, because I don't think it is such a popular travel destination, or not many people know a lot about Guatemala. First things first, it forms together with Belize the northern border of Central America. Many people think Mexico is still Central America, but actually it is.
In the north of America.
North America, exactly, together with Canada and the US. In Guatemala, the currency is the quetzal, which is also the name of the national bird. As you can see on the flag, one super interesting thing I like about Guatemala, and I always liked about Guatemala, is the population. Together with, I think, Bolivia, it is one of the countries where a lot of people in the population identify as indigenous. There are actually still 21 Mayan languages spoken in Guatemala, together with Spanish, so it's 22 languages. And then at the Caribbean coast you also have Garifuna, which is like a Creole kind of community. In total, Guatemala has about 17 million inhabitants. And as I already mentioned, 41% of them identify as Mayan. So this is why you can see a lot of Mayan presence all over the country. Another incredible thing about Guatemala is that there are in total 37 volcanoes, and 3 of them are still active. So it means there is always the danger of erupting volcanoes.
Yeah. When we arrived to Flores, it was raining. The locals said that it was the dry season, but surprisingly it was raining a lot. Our hotel was right by the lakefront, so we enjoyed a beautiful view. The downside is that every time we wanted to go to the other side of the lake, we had to pay for a ride. And that was not really practical. As it was rainy, we couldn't visit around, so we decided to book the tour to Tikal in our hotel, but it was very expensive. Afterwards, we realized that you can book the tour for less in other places.
And it's the same tour. Oh yeah, in the morning we were actually woken up by the howling monkeys, just like terrorizing the entire jungle. It was amazing, actually. I really loved this because it sounds so intense. It sounds so raw. And we had a viewpoint very close by, so we walked up to the viewpoint, surrounded by the sounds of the monkeys, but we could not spot any, unfortunately. I think in Tikal we saw actually one, no?
Yeah,
in Tikal we saw some, but in the morning we didn't see any, but we still had an amazing view over the lake, an amazing view of the city of Flores, like the little island. So as Elisa already mentioned, we took a tour to Tikal. Tikal used to be one of the biggest city-states of the Mayan Empire. I mean, actually you can't say there was a Mayan Empire like the Aztec Empire, because it was not centralized. Every city had its own little state and its own king. So we went to Tikal, which used to be enormous, and nowadays the ruins you can visit are about 30% uncovered. So there is still a lot more to uncover, but there is a lot more uncovered than in Palenque, for example, where it's only like 2 to 3%.
In Tikal, we started our tour with an English guide, but the guide didn't mention a lot of stuff, interesting stuff. We realized that the tour in Spanish could be more interesting, so we decided to change our guide. Many ruins can be climbed and offer an amazing view to the jungle. Be prepared to many steps.
You will get your steps in. Also, the entire area is just really big, you know. You walk a lot around.
Oh yes.
But it's worth it.
Totally worth it. that we notice in Guatemala in general is that things are more expensive for tourists.
Compared with
Palenque.
the south of Mexico, like Palenque, everything in Chiapas, basically. We did not expect it to be so well established here, the tourism, which is totally fine, of course. Like, they use the resources that they have. However, usually with tourism being established also comes scammers. So like people charging a lot more from people who look like tourists, like me. But actually also Elisa always looks like a tourist, let's be honest. Maybe Monterrey not, but like even in Mexico City, she looks like a tourist.
Back to the city, we got to know the hostel Los Amigos Petén. I had never visited a hostel before. My expectations were very low. However, Los Amigos had a really nice vibe. So I thought I would like to experience staying in a place like that. This is the reason that we booked one for our next stop in Antigua.
Okay, Antigua actually used to be the capital of Guatemala. Actually, from Guatemala, all of Central America was governed by the Spanish. So Antigua used to be the capital, but the capital was moved, I think, somewhere in the 18th or 19th century. So Antigua is surrounded by beautiful volcanoes. Like, the landscape is amazing. All around Antigua you have these huge mountains. You're right at the bottom of the Volcano de Agua. You can see the Volcano de Fuego, which is one of the 3 active volcanoes, spit fire and ash every 5 minutes. So it's amazing, the view. You can see the Acatenango very close to Volcano de Fuego. You're just surrounded by mountains and it's amazing. Antigua is also called the city of the church ruins. Like, maybe I made that up, actually, I don't know. But there are so many church ruins around. It's a very seismic active area, so you have a lot of earthquakes. And these earthquakes in the last couple of hundreds destroyed this colonial style city again and again and again. Especially taller buildings like the churches. There is one building, however, which withstood all these earthquakes. It is the Ark, the Santa Catalina Ark. This just has very thick walls and for some reason hasn't collapsed any time since it was built. And it is actually also the most famous photo spot, selfie spot, wedding photo shoot spot. So because you can see the Volcán de Agua right behind it, so it's a really amazing view. You can enjoy more of this amazing city and the view of the surrounding area if you walk from the city center about 20 minutes up to the Cerro de la Cruz. It's a very prominent cross you can see from all over the city if you have a good view. It's just a viewpoint. I mean, it's not a relaxed walk up there, it's stairs, but you can get there very easily and just have an amazing view of the city, of the volcanoes, and just spend some time there.
Close to our accommodation, there was the park La Merced. Also, there is a church called La Merced, and you can find many street food. In this park, you can find a lot of local street food, which is cheap and good. So we recommend you to visit and grab rellenitos, panes con, ponche, tostadas, a lot of local food. The atmosphere in Antigua was very special, so probably it became one of my favorite spots in Guatemala.
From Antigua you can visit many volcanoes like Volcán de Agua, Volcán de Fuego, Acatenango, but also Volcán de Pacaya. This is one of the 3 active volcanoes actually. Last outbreak was in 2021. You can hike up there. We heard it's easy to hike up there.
I almost died, but the experience was absolutely worth it. The views are very beautiful, even though that day was very cloudy.
You get up there and you see this Mordor-like structure, you know, if you like a lot of the Rings. I don't know, this is a good place to visit, I think, because there's so many black stones everywhere. It's like a deserted land, there are no plants in between. Actually, from the eruption in 2021, you can see the lava field where the lava crawled down the mountain and destroyed a lot of coffee plantation. So it looks surreal, and you can see what force the nature actually has. We have more coming from Guatemala City, but from Flores and Antigua, this is it. Thank you all for tuning in another time. We hope to see you again soon. We always appreciate feedback and whatever you have to tell to us greatly. And see you soon.
See you soon, and thank you for watching us.
Adios. Toodaloo.